Hey, welcome you guys. Thanks for actually tuning in today. Today we have the wonderful Kaye Denise.
She's an entrepreneur, the founder of a nonprofit, and she's an inspiration to all women.
So you guys already know, class is in session. All right, so welcome today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. All right, so I know you. Nate is getting to know you.
Right.
Right. But for our viewers, can you give them a background on your businesses or a description of who you are, just quick?
Well, I'm Kaye Denise. That's what everybody calls me. I rarely go by my real name.
Rarely.
I have graduated.
Uh-huh.
I am Mother Nurture, so I just started all of my businesses on based on nurturing.
Okay.
So I have a nonprofit,
Mhm.
the Divinity Family Foundation, which is all about family and cohesion and um, just making sure that our families are one and they're blended.
Mm.
So we do like micro events for families, and I love that.
Like such as what?
Um, One of my favorites is Daddy Daughter Date Night.
Okay.
Okay.
So we just kind of get our families together to talk
Mhm.
amongst each other. Like you would be surprised how many families don't talk to each other.
Is it because of the cell phones or just
Cell
schedules?
phones, schedules, work, school.
Mhm.
Our children just don't want to be bothered with us anymore. Like,
Okay.
but I think it's really important that we develop those relationships. I grew up in uh, a very diverse family.
Mhm.
You know, my biological parents were married and then they divorced
Mhm.
and then they both remarried. So I come from all of these different stages.
Right.
And I saw how it affected everybody in our household. Like I have 11 brothers and sisters. So
Okay,
you
gotcha.
can't talk to all your kids when
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
11,
Yeah.
11 kids.
Somebody is not getting the attention.
So that's pretty much the basis of the nonprofit. And then I have the Divinity Women's Guild, which was the subsidiary to the nonprofit, which is all about like women empowering each other, from an emotional standpoint, not
Okay.
just an entrepreneurial standpoint,
Mhm.
because we can talk about business all day, but I want to get down to the nitty gritty,
Mhm.
like why you are the way that you are.
Mhm.
How did you get like that? What can we do collectively to talk about the taboo things to help you get over that?
Okay. So, what would be your biggest drive for starting? I'm gonna say just your first nonprofit.
Ooh, you know what? Coming from such a big family, there
Mhm.
was a lot of dysfunction, but we loved
I
each
can
other.
agree with that. You agree with that?
There was a lot of
Yeah.
dysfunction though.
Yeah.
But we're like best friends.
Right.
Mhm.
But when you're dealing with so many personalities, it's hard to kind of help everybody mesh together.
Yep.
So that was my drive. And being in a very culturally diverse background,
Mm.
I got to see how my Caucasian peers reacted with their parents
Mhm.
and my Indian peers reacted with their parents. So I really wanted to kind of bring some of those standards and morals back to the African American community.
Yeah, that it's different.
It's very different.
It's very different. Like I was explaining, we were having a conversation, me and Nate, and he was like, Jay, why do y'all always dress up? Like he wasn't talking about y'all like as a people. He was talking like me and my cousin and all. I'm going
Yeah.
like, oh, this is the only thing we had for a while, right? Like was boom, looking good.
Church clothes.
Right.
Yep. And we're talking about brands and stuff like that.
and
Why it's different.
brands
Yeah.
and what it means. But then he was describing on the other hand of like cowboy boots. Like
Mhm.
if you're not a cowboy, don't wear them. Like
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm Southern, and it's like I grew up like ranch hand, farm hand, and like that's where my parents are from, is like the West. So it's
Okay.
that kind of thing. So that's where it's like now that I live in South St. Louis, when I see everybody with the trucks and the boots, and then it's like, what are you doing? That's like my it's like kind of like fugazi a little bit.
I
Yeah,
understand.
yes, it's just kind of funny on my point. Yeah.
I
so
understand.
so just to bring it back to you, yeah, you definitely like if that's what you're bringing, and I think that's kind of cool that you're tying cultures and I would say
Yeah.
beliefs together.
It's important because some of the things that were given
Mhm.
to Black people culturally,
Right.
you know, we were left out of some of the norms.
Mhm.
Like my Caucasian peers, their parents taught them about investing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm just saying my peers.
No, yeah, I
You
get
know
you.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
saying everybody.
Yeah.
But, you know, they taught them about investing. Or I went to school with kids, and every winter break,
Yeah.
spring break, oh, we're going to our beach house. We're
Man,
going, you know what I'm saying? You
I still
know,
haven't seen the beach. Yeah, I do.
every spring break, you know, we're in Florida or we're in another country. So I wanted to afford those opportunities and those perspectives to Black families, because a lot of us didn't grow up like that,
No,
you know.
it's a couple of us did, but yeah, most
Couple
of
of
us
us did.
couple of us. I'm like, yo, you the lucky ones, right? Like, you know what Disney
But
World
it's
really
not
is.
the cultural norm.
Mhm.
No.
And I like I said, I come from such a vast background. So like when my mother was a single parent, we're
Mhm.
not talking about vacations. We're talking about she made enough money to buy everybody shoes for the school year, and
Right.
that's it.
And definitely seeing not just your picture or the way you the way you were raised and the way other people are raised, it gives you some perspective, because I had no idea that, you know, I would say southern southern folks
Mhm.
was raised similar to the way we were raised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not saying all southern, but you know, middle to lower class. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, it goes to the press that we're more alike than we are different. And it's
Right.
getting that
Yeah.
idea to everybody. It's like we're more alike, because like me and Jay shouldn't be in a room together. None of us should be in a room, but it's like it clicks and it works, and it's like that's why it's like we see differences, but there's
Yeah.
again
We
more
shouldn't be in a room together because he works out and I don't, and he makes me look bad.
Yeah, you this spring, man.
Well,
this spring.
I do yoga at home, so y'all both got me beat.
Do you see the cultural, like, again, what you're trying to change culturally? Are you seeing the change? Are you seeing things change in your circle? Because we've talked about this before. It's like it's hard to move vast, you know, mountains or ocean. It's like
It
that
is.
changing your circle and the people around you. Is that how you're approaching it, or?
You know what? That's a really good question. I guess I don't gauge it because my core circle,
Okay.
we're just kind of already like that.
Yeah.
So they identify
Right.
with me.
Mhm.
It is hard to move mountains, I will say that,
Yeah.
because some people don't see the value in it. And I don't expect everybody to. But there are some people that are just ignorant to how to lay a foundation.
Mhm.
You know, you just like, I'd use me for an example. I had a baby at 19.
Mhm.
Now, I had a great family structure,
Right.
so I knew what to look for. But you got to think about, it's so many other people that might have had children at 18, 19, and they didn't see any of that. They weren't raised by two parents or four parents. They may have raised themselves.
And you can only pass down what you know.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So you kind of have to, it's kind of a double-edged sword,
Okay.
because you kind of seek out the people
Right.
that do identify with it, because they value it.
Mhm.
But then you want to bring people in
Yeah.
that didn't have that, so they can ascertain the value for it.
Right.
Does it frustrate you when it doesn't happen?
Yes.
Because that's what it was me.
Yes.
Because I would try to again help because I differentiate myself from like Southern culture a lot,
okay.
and you know how I grew up. I try to kind of put a lot of space in a lot of areas, but when I
Just not
tried
the barbecue.
but like when it comes like helping just maybe friends you grew up like where you think you have loyalty, but they're not necessarily in the same mindset and you want to help them, it gets frustrating. Like, hey, it's just not working. Like, I don't, yeah, it's hard.
It's
Yeah.
hard.
Which we talked about is like, it's heartbreaking as well.
Mhm.
You know what? I think I've grown away from the emotional aspect of it
Right.
now. That's big in entrepreneurship in general, because the people that you think are going to support you the most, not at all.
Yeah.
It's quite the opposite. So once I mastered that mindset, I was like, you know, if you find it valuable, then you'll show up.
Mhm.
And if you don't, you won't. So I can't force you. And I don't have the time to force you.
Right.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna make the time, and I don't have the energy. So my grandmother used to always say, "You celebrate who celebrates you. You celebrate the people that are in the room. You pay
Mhm.
attention to the people that are in the room,
Mhm.
not anybody else."
How long did it take you to learn that? Like to not be tied
Oof.
emotionally?
Oof. When I started my first business, you know what? It wasn't even tied to entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
I did my first birthday party when
Okay.
I was 13,
Mhm.
and I invited all my friends.
Mhm.
2 people showed up, and I was mortified. I was
Is-
mortified.
How did y'all eat all that cake? Like where did it go?
She was thick for the summer. That's all I can say. But by 18,
Yeah.
I was kind of weaning myself off of that.
Yeah.
By 22, I was like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
let's talk about the people who are here, because those are the people that you focus on.
Reality hits.
Yeah.
That's good.
Mhm.
Because I think me and Jay, we talked about it's like the golden age of 25 is kind of where we kind of figured it out.
Yeah.
Is like, yeah, you kind of not necessarily cut people, but yeah, it's you have to make that hard decision on a lot of things.
I don't even say cut people. I
Yeah.
just kind of let you fall.
Yeah,
where
it'll
you-
just
where you
kind of
fall.
yeah.
Mhm.
You
I
might-
don't go back though.
Yeah.
No, they fell for a reason.
That's the hard part though.
Mhm.
Because you want to go back and be like, hey, I have some time. Let me pull you up.
Mhm.
Some people you just can't.
So thanks for watching, you guys. If you appreciate the content,
Like and subscribe.
hey, class dismissed.